When we are confronted with the finiteness of life, what truly matters? How do we find purpose in limited time? These are powerful questions, and perhaps you've never taken the time to reflect on them deeply. But upon discovering the journey of Paul Kalanithi, a talented and promising neurosurgeon whose life was unexpectedly cut short, these questions gain a new urgency, a depth that touches the heart and makes us reconsider our priorities. In this video, I'll share the profound and transformative lessons I found while reading When Breath Becomes Air, a book that reminds us that life is fragile, yet filled with meaning. Stay with me, and prepare yourself for a reflection that may change how you see your own path. Before we dive into the lessons of this impactful book, I invite you to disconnect from the distractions around you and immerse yourself in this story with an open heart and mind. By the end of this video, you may also discover something that will change your own perspective. Take this moment to reflect, and if you can, share this journey with someone who needs a dose of inspiration and reflection. And if, like me, you're passionate about exploring the world of books and believe that stories can transform lives, don't forget to subscribe to Literary World. Here we delve deeply into books, analyzing their lessons and values, so each read becomes an experience that goes beyond the pages. By subscribing, you help us reach more people who, like you, are looking for reflections and inspiring stories. And don't forget to check the link in the description to access the full book and follow every detail of this impactful narrative. When Breath Becomes Air is an autobiographical book, published posthumously in 2016, that takes us into the mind and heart of Paul Kalanithi, a brilliant neurosurgeon diagnosed with terminal lung cancer at the age of 36. At the peak of his career, when medicine had already become a field of vocation and purpose, Paul found himself brutally confronted with mortality. Through its pages, he narrates his personal and professional struggles, dilemmas, and the search for meaning in a space where life and death become a single thin line. More than a story of illness, When Breath Becomes Air is a reflection on what it truly means to live a full and meaningful life. And this is the journey we'll explore together now. Paul Kalanithi was a man of many talents. Before choosing medicine, he had already excelled in literature and philosophy, driven by a passion for understanding the nuances of human existence. He found in neurosurgery a path that combined intellect with a commitment to human life. Ironically, just as his career was reaching its peak, he was diagnosed with advanced lung cancer, without ever having smoked a cigarette. Yet Paul didn't simply wait for the inevitable. Instead, he used his knowledge and passion for writing to share his experience. He left us not just a book, but a legacy on what it means to face mortality with dignity, courage, and vulnerability. The importance of facing death honestly. From the moment of his diagnosis, Paul knew that time was limited. Rather than surrendering to despair, he shows us the value of facing death honestly. He describes death not as a horrible end to be feared, but as a natural part of life that must be accepted. This lesson invites us to reflect on how we ignore our own mortality, living as if we had eternity ahead, rather than embracing every moment. Finding purpose in life. Paul speaks about how, even in the face of illness, he continued to find purpose in the practice of medicine. For him, purpose doesn't disappear with circumstances but adapts. This lesson makes us think, how can we find purpose regardless of our circumstances? He shows us that as long as there is life, There will always be something meaningful to do, a reason to wake up every morning. Balancing career and personal life. In the book, Paul shares the challenges of balancing his intense medical career with his personal life. This lesson is especially relevant in a world that values success and productivity above all else. He reminds us that a career is only a part of our existence and that dedicating time to personal relationships is essential for a complete life. The vulnerability and power of acceptance. As Paul finds himself weakened by illness, he recognizes the importance of acceptance. He teaches us that, at times, the only power we have is to accept what we cannot change. This vulnerability, contrary to popular belief, is not a sign of weakness but a strength that allows us to keep moving forward, even when the situation is challenging. The value of relationships. During his illness, Paul learned to value those around him, especially his wife, Lucy, even more. He makes it clear that, in difficult times, it's the human connections that sustain us. This lesson reminds us that, in the end, what matters most are the people we love and who love us. Redefining success. Paul teaches us to question the concept of success. For him, success was no longer about achieving professional milestones but about living authentically, savoring each day to its fullest. This redefinition encourages us to consider how we can redefine success in our own lives, focusing on what truly brings us happiness and peace. The beauty of leaving a legacy. Paul knew he wouldn't live to see his daughter grow up, but he left a legacy that transcends his lifetime. This legacy, embodied in the words of this book, serves as an inspiration to reflect on what we're leaving behind. Are we living in a way that will inspire others? Accepting uncertainty and the unknown. Paul Kalanithi teaches us that, although we're constantly pressured to plan and predict, life is inherently uncertain. By accepting that we cannot control every aspect of our journey, he invites us to abandon the illusion of control. This lesson shows us that it's possible to find peace simply by accepting that the future is uncertain and that, often, the best we can do is to live fully in the present. Recognizing the value of time. When Paul finds himself with limited time, he realizes something crucial. Time is the most precious asset we have. This awareness warns us of the danger of postponing dreams and important moments, waiting for the right time. The author reminds us that instead of deferring happiness, we need to embrace it in the present because tomorrow may not come. The fragility and strength of hope. Even when facing a difficult diagnosis, Paul finds strength in hope. But he shows us that hope is not something absolute or easy. It is fragile, often wavering, yet powerful. Hope, in its many forms, motivated him to keep going and to continue fighting, even on the darkest days. This lesson reminds us that hope, though fragile, can be an essential ally in any difficult phase of life. The meaning of empathy and compassion in medicine. As both a neurosurgeon and patient, Paul Kalanithi realized the importance of empathy. He teaches us that medicine, more than a science, is a practice that involves humanity and understanding. This lesson is fundamental, not only for healthcare professionals but for all of us. reminding us that care and compassion have the power to ease pain, make difficult moments more bearable, and show that we are all vulnerable. Now that we've explored the deep lessons of when breath becomes air, I want to hear from you. Which lesson touched your heart the most? What reflections do you take from this video? Your opinion is very important to us and helps enrich our reading community. Leave a comment with your thoughts. We love hearing what each of you has to say. And of course, if you want to keep exploring the world of books and delve into themes that challenge and inspire, don't forget to follow the channel Literary World. Many more reviews and deep reflections await you. Thank you for staying until the end of this video. It's always an honor to share these stories and reflections with people who, like me, see value in reading and continuous learning. See you in the next video.